Everyone knows you cannot run a good, sound, efficient business without the correct supplies at the correct price. I'm going to go over in this video what I use for supplies on my day-to-day activities as a low-end card seller. You're going to want to watch this. Yo, YouTube, welcome back to the Dollar Box. I've got a good video for you today. By request of a few different viewers and also messages I get on a regular basis, I thought it was time to go over a supplies list, things I keep on hand to efficiently and cost effectively run my low-end card selling business, and provide you some links and prices. I will have links down below. This first item is actually a little machine that you need supplies for. However, I believe this is essential to running a day-to-day regular operation such as the one that I'm doing, and that is a thermal printer. I'm going to put a link down below to the one that I use. I know lots of sellers use what's called a Rollo printer. Rollo is a brand name. They're very expensive, $250, $275, something like that for a thermal printer. I didn't feel like that was necessary, and actually I didn't even buy the thermal printer I have. A viewer purchased it and was kind enough to send it to me, and it works perfect. So the link I'm posting below is for the same printer. It's just not the one I didn't purchase it myself. But for 60, 70 bucks, you can get a quality plug-in or Bluetooth connected printer that will work for years to come. Now, this little machine is essential because it's going to not only save you time, because you're simply going to print the label from eBay. We're selling through eBay standard envelopes. You have to print your label through eBay anyway. The other thing is it saves you money because the fan fold stickers or labels, the 4x6 labels that you're going to run through the machine, and we'll talk about those in a little bit, are very inexpensive. You're talking a penny to a penny and a half if you're buying them in the right spot at the right quantity, which is a lot cheaper than writing on an envelope or, creating your own stickers, whatever you're going to do as an alternative. To top that off, because it's thermal, you never need to buy any ink. So that then leads us into those labels. So I'm buying 4,000 labels at a time. That is the kind of the sweet spot quantity to purchase at the best price. You can generally get them for 1.2 cents to 1.5 cents a piece, depending on the deals at the time. I have a few different brands that I just throw in my Amazon cart, and hopefully I get notifications that prices drop on them, or I order on Prime Day, something like that, and I can get some better deals on occasion. However, they're not very expensive most of the time. There's a pretty good deal on it. You can do some subscribe and save. I don't do that just because it's such a big item. I don't know exactly how many I'm going to go through. So to me, the small savings on a subscribe and save isn't really worth it. And a lot of times these products will be out of stock and you'll have to buy from another vendor anyway. But I do have a link down below for what I believe is the best current deal on fan fold 4x6 thermal labels. So feel free to click on that if you'd like to purchase some. The next thing is what you're going to stick that sticker to, and that is envelopes. So on hand, I always have number 6 envelopes, which I buy at Walmart. I can actually show you a box right here. This is what they look like. They're the gummed pen gear brand, so it's like the generic Walmart brand. You get 100 of them for $1.97. I'll throw a graphic on the screen here showing the Walmart listing. You can order them for pickup. They won't send them for delivery because of weight, I'm guessing, and people would buy super quantities of them. I don't really bother. I have a Walmart not that far from my house. It's by some other running I do pretty regularly. I don't shop at Walmart, but I'll pop in there once in a while, see if they have envelopes. If they've got 6 or 8 boxes, I'll buy them. I probably have a stack of about 35 or 40 boxes right now. I do not want to run out of envelopes. That would be a big mistake. So that's how I've been buying them forever. It's worked out pretty well for me. Make sure if you go into the store, you're buying the gummed envelopes and not the peel and stick envelopes, because those are a lot more expensive, like $1.25, $1.30 to get the self-stick ones. Now, some people don't want to lick the envelopes, and I get that, and I don't really want to either. So what I do is I don't seal it at all. I simply, on the number 6 envelope, I simply take it this way, um, put the card in it, get the flap down, and then I put the sticker over the flap because the sticker is going to be bigger than the size of this envelope. So you put the sticker somewhat over this flap, and then it'll come down and around in the back a little bit. You'll have to fold it over. But it works perfect, keeps it nice and sealed, covers that seam, and I've never had an issue with it. And then that way you don't have to lick and seal them, and you can save the money on the self-sealed envelopes. Now the number 10 envelopes, the business size envelopes, the longer ones, I actually order those on Amazon. They're actually cheaper on Amazon than they are on Walmart. So I can get 150 of them at Walmart for like 587, 590, something like that. I'll put that graphic on here as well. I found a 500 pack on Amazon. Again, I'll throw it on here. The link's going to be down below too, because I did create an affiliate link for that product as well, if you want to order those. But that's by far the best way I've found to get number 10 envelopes. I don't know why I can't find a deal on number 6 envelopes to buy online, but I haven't been able to, so I've stuck with just buying them at Walmart. Um, by the way, if anybody else has a better deal, a better product, a better place to get something on a better price, please share down below. Make the comments. We're all trying to make our experience better, more cost effective, better products, whatever the case may be. So feel free if you've had a different experience than myself. And the next thing is a 6x9 envelope stock. This is a new supply that I'm carrying. Got a tip from a viewer on here that you can take 3 card savers. Card savers is the generic term I use for these. I don't actually buy card savers, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But if you take 3 of them, you fill them with cards, and you kind of overlap them a little bit, they fit perfectly in a 6x9 envelope. And if you read the requirements for eBay standard envelope, you can use a 6x9 envelope. So I've been buying those. Just buy the manila ones. They look like, just buy the manila ones. They look like this. I use the gummed ones for this too, and buy them as cheap as possible. Do you have a link down below for some 6x9 envelopes? They are self-seal because that was the best price I could find at the time. Kind of weird, but you don't need a ton of those. You're probably not going to have as many orders where you need 3 card savers versus 2 card saver, a business size envelope or a singles envelope. But it's kind of that sweet spot, right? So like you have 12 cards you sell, you can fit those in 2 card savers and get it out of a business envelope. But if you sell 15 cards, you don't necessarily, if they're all, $1.50 cards, you don't necessarily want to send that as a package and pay up that $3-4 price to mail that when you can still mail it under 3 ounces for $1.12. So it's there's only going to be certain situations where you're going to hit that amount where it makes sense to use that 6x9 envelope. But I think it's a really smart thing to have on hand. So since I brought up card savers, let's just jump into that. And this one's going to surprise you a little bit. I don't use Cardboard Gold's brand. I don't use BCW. I don't use Ultra Pro. I don't use any of those. I use a little unknown company that doesn't even have a website you can buy from called Elite Card Supplies. And they only sell on eBay, or at least that I've found. And they sell 1,000 pack of card save. No, this actually is an Ultra Pro one. Bad example here. I don't have any of the other ones in front of me right now, the Elite ones. But I'll show the pictures and stuff on screen here. But for $55, if you buy 2,000 of these, okay, so they do have a listing at 1,000 for a supply, but that's at like $58. So if you buy 2,000, you get them for 55. So why not? Which makes them about 5.5 cents a piece. That's pretty cheap for a card saver. They're the same size, same material. They're pretty decent quality. But the big bonus is you also get, for every 1,000 of those you order, you get 1,000 card sleeves included. So you're looking at, 10 packs. What is that? Yeah, 10 packs of card sleeves. So you're getting $10 essentially worth of card sleeves included in that. So if you took, well, I was paying $1 a pack for card sleeves out of that, and you're paying $45 for 1,000 of these, if you break it down that way, 4.5 cents for card savers. I haven't found anything that beats that out. Now, I know the next thing that's going to be asked, or expected to be talked about is going to be top loads. That is an interesting product for me. A lot of sellers will just send everything in the card savers. I think it's more of a shipping concern than anything else. I've been shipping in top loads forever, haven't had a problem other than one little stint, but it was a post office issue. But I ship in top loads pretty much every single card. My customers like them, collectors like them. Nobody keeps their cards in card savers, once it's in their PC. Most of our customers are PC. They're buying these low-end cards because they want them for themselves. They're not investment cards. So if I can include a top load, I like the fact that it has a little bit of flexibility, but not as much as a card saver, so less likely to really fold in half. Um, Easier to tape shut. You just take that little piece of painter's tape, another supply we'll talk about shortly. You just take a real tiny little slice of that, you fold it right over the top, done. When I seal these, I have to put a bigger piece of tape across the top to make sure that it sticks. And if these get any kind of thickness, if you've got 3 or 4 cards in there and they get puffy on the top, they're harder to stick shut. So anyway, so I prefer top loads over everything else. The other beauty of these, I get them free almost all the time because I get them when I'm buying cards. So I don't keep any of my own cards in top loaders. So for me, they don't have any personal use. I don't really care that they're used. If they're really bad, like once in a while I'll get one that's really yellow or something, right? This one's actually not the worst, but it's not great. I might consider just not reusing that and just tossing it so that I'm not sending out my nice cards in terrible top loads. But for the most part, your used top loads are going to be pretty good. If you're buying cards at shows and they're coming in top loads, those are the ones that are probably going to be in the best shape because somebody else, again, was top loading those cards to try to get a sale on it. So your top loads really shouldn't cost you anything. Now, that being said, if you run super low on them and you have to buy them, I still buy them used for the most part because that's still the best price that I've found. There's a lot of eBay sellers that sell, big bulk boxes of top loads, 2,000 at a time, something like that. And I would do that. No, I've been doing this for about 3.5 years. I ship a lot of cards a week, a couple thousand, and I've only ever had to buy top loads once. Constantly buying top loaded lots, whatever. You should be getting top loads pretty frequently that you can just turn around and then use those as a shipping supply. So I've got 2 more items that I believe are completely necessary to be able to operate, and that is tape. And I use both kinds. So I started out with just masking tape because it's about half the price of painter's tape. But I've switched. I'm using some painter's tape now because I have learned through using the masking tape on some of my own items that it does leave some residue. It gets if it's on there for a while, it gets kind of sticky. And I'm going through the effort of using top loaders because I know my collectors want top loaders. I don't want to trash it with a piece of tape on it if it's something they can use. But I still buy this. It's very inexpensive. It's great to have around, and I do believe it sticks better than the painter's tape, and it does have its certain applications. The primary function I use it for is actually for my inventory because I bag all my inventory into these SKU numbered bags, and then they go into my inventory drawers. So I like the masking tape because it's very easy to read the numbers on it. So these are all sitting in a drawer, all stacked up like this, and I can look at the tops and see what numbers they are. Very easy to pull my orders when I'm doing that in the morning and shipping them out. So I like the masking tape for that. Again, cheaper. It does stick a little better. So when you're opening and closing these bags a bunch of times, taking cards out and this is getting, bent back and forth and whatnot, this tape will hold up a lot better than the painter's tape for that purpose. So very inexpensive, easier to read and see on the bag, and a little bit more durable and more sticky. Painter's tape. This is pretty much the standard at this point. Everybody uses painter tape to close up their cards, ship them out. I'm not going to be any different because I believe that is the correct answer. I do try to buy the cheapest brand I can find, if you will. But honestly, for how much I use, the cost is not really that significant because you're talking very much fractions of a penny per card. So I generally will just take my roll like this, take a little piece of tape, little piece of tape. I rip right off the edge. Got my card in the top loader, put my little piece of tape over the top, and that's enough to do it. So you're looking at less than, a tenth of a penny. So the difference between that and regular masking tape was not nearly as significant as I thought it might be. So it's worth just a few extra overall pennies for a lot of shipments to use that painter's tape. So that's it. I believe those are my essential supplies to run my day-to-day operation. You have some other things, like I do have a scanner. I use the Ricoh. If you get to a high level and you want some more volume there, that's another machine you can add. I do have a laptop, maintenance, and print my orders from there and all that kind of thing. So there's some other machines and things that I feel are necessary to my day-to-day operation. But as far as like really supplies, that's going to cover it for that. That's it for this video. Thanks again so much for watching. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, if you got something out of it. Leave comments down below. I want to know what you think about these supplies. What are you using? Let's get it out there so that everybody can learn and grow. And we'll see you again soon.